Hey guys, glad to be back. I haven't released any video this year. Sorry about that. Bit of life updates. I'm growing beards. Okay, that's not much of an update. But it's still the same car situation. I'm sorry. Working on it, working on it. It's not exactly an MO, but it is convenient for me to make these videos and just get them out there. It was World Book Day just a few days ago, um, and I missed it. I missed putting out a post on my Instagram. I missed putting out a video here, and it was quite embarrassing. A little bit of a kick in the butt, and now I'm here, hoping I can make amends. So, in the spirit of World Book Day, albeit belated, I want to talk about, this is going to be a bit of a rant, not reviewing any book in this video. Why do I read? I read because stories allow me to confront ideas. Big ups to writers, the authors out there. It takes a lot of courage for you to share your ideas with the world, knowing that someone out there is going to disapprove, is going to react, is going to be traumatized by the effrontery, your mere effrontery to say or to share how you see the world. And I like to confront those ideas because it challenges whatever preconceptions or prejudice or bias I might have before engaging, and it also allows me to mold what may also allow me to mold what I already have, or whatever ideas I have or might have formed over time. But my most interesting motivation for reading is that it allows me to explore other stories, other worlds, see things through other people's eyes, and it's always so glorious. Um, since I started this YouTube channel, I've had a few friends ask me, "So, Sochi, how can I start a reading goal? How can I read more? How can I read better?" And I basically always start by asking, do you want to read more or do you want to read better? Because those are really two different kinds of objectives. So, for instance, this year I'm setting out to read 52 books. And in doing so, personally, it also means that, I'll read it in the way that I normally read books, which is to read it deeply, try to get out the meat or the juice from those books. So that entails reading deeper, not just reading wider, but reading deeper. But if you're starting out or you're trying to get back on the wagon in reading more or in reading better, it's you typically want to start with reading more, and then over time develop a habit or a skill in reading deeper. So this year I'm reading a combination of fiction and non-fiction as well. So far I've read 4 books this year. I know it's a quarter, 3 months into the year, 4 months into the year, and I ought to have read more by now, but I've read just 4. I'm ashamed of it. It's really been busy, like I said earlier, and I hope to make amends before the end of the year. 52 books. Uh, that's not going to be easy. So another thing I like to point out to my friends, and I would like to share, is I think one of the things that really stops people from reading more or even reading at all is they have these myths that they hold on to about reading. One of which is they think, for instance, you might think that I was born a reader. No, I wasn't, and science has really, come to prove that we are not born first readers. We're born first to understand the language before we even begin to read, and then even to write. That reading is even one of the latter skills or behaviors that man has learned in the history of in our evolution or in our history. Another myth that people hold on to is that they need to get it at the first reading. You don't have to. Sometimes you have to read a book twice before you get the idea or you get the message. Sometimes you need to write out, take notes. So it's a gradual thing. Some people read it once and then you get it. Some people read very fast, but you need to take baby steps. Read first, then over time you develop the skill, at you develop the skill of reading fast, or getting it instantly once you've read a book that one time. So don't let these myths hold you back. I think it's noble, it's worthwhile to take on reading, and really and really stick with it. Reading is one of the best gifts that you can give yourself, because they make you a better person. um, how can you stay consistent? How can you be more consistent on reading? One way is to have a schedule. I read between meetings. I read in very weird places. I'm ashamed to mention, but I read between meetings. I read before I sleep. I read if I'm commuting. I normally drive. It goes without saying. But if I'm commuting, or I'm being driven and I'm not obliged to speak, I pick up my book, or I'm listening to a book on Audible, and I read. Another good tip would be to have a read buddy. I have a reading buddy. I have a few reading buddies, people that I can, compare notes with. So it's a good idea when you have someone that you can say at the end of every book or every experience with a book, you can, call and say, hey, I just finished this. Are you done? What did you think about it? Oh, that character, or that situation, or that scene, what do you think about it? And then that way, that conversation actually helps cement the message or the juice of that book, or the meat of that book in your brain. Another good tip would be to another good tip would be to take notes and share. Like I'm doing right now. I love to share. So no, my first motivation for having this YouTube channel is not for profit and or ad revenues or anything of the sort, but really I love to share. I enjoy the stories. I enjoy the stories that I read, and even the ones that I don't read. I like the conversations that I can have about them. But better still, I like the conversations I can have with you while I share my views. So far, it's been really good. I've come across a few people who've challenged me and said, did you really like that book? I didn't so much, and then conversation starts from there. So yeah, notes have closed again. Yeah, we're back. So what are your reading goals for the year? Do you have one? Do you even have one? Let me know. You can send me a message or a DM on Instagram. You can put a comment down below, and I would love to have a conversation with you about your reading goals, or what you plan to read this year, or even what you're reading right now. All right. So I'll be reading you in the next one. Bye. Or even what you're reading right now. You can leave a message. So what are your reading goals? What do you plan to read? How many books do you plan to read this year? It don't have to be much. It could be even 4 books. You could set out you could set out 4 books that you want to read this year, name them, and then set about completing that task. So let me know. You can send me a message on Instagram, DM me, or you can leave a comment in the comment section below. and I would really love to engage with you. So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and I'll be reading you in the next one.